Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Lineage Break Live, a Grand Archive live show. My name is Cam. I'm your host. With me, as always, is Trusty Steve.
Hello, guys. Hello, Cam. How are you on
Steven.
This Friday?
I'm doing well. Today we have some fun stuff to talk about. We have some promos to talk about for the upcoming competitive season. We finally got our Ascent promos for DTR, which is cool. We have
Chat is requesting volume up.
some Gauntlet stuff to talk about. And we also have the lore article that came out on Thursday. Chat, you can blow it out your ass. Seems fine to me. How are you doing, everyone, here in the world? Hopefully everything's fine. I don't know. What are you guys complaining about? I think it's because the music was so loud. But I will turn this up a little bit. Hope you guys are doing well. It'll be a good day. Welcome to our new studio. I can actually change the volume now in real time. This is not our new studio, but welcome to Steve's office. This nice blank wall.
Mm-hmm.
But we're only going to be here for a month or something. So we're not going to put up the beautiful wall art. You guys can be used to what it used to look like in the before times, before we had all the stuff that we've accumulated over the past 3 years. If you guys are new to the show, hi, welcome. We've been doing this show since the dawn of time, 3 years or something. If you are not new to the show, welcome back, and welcome to Lineage Break Live, which is what we are calling our show now. You will notice, chat, Steven.
Me?
You. Some differences. Mostly just the branding and the stupid intro that we put together. New plan for Lineage Break in this new era of we have to care about clicks mostly, but also, sort of just making things a little bit more streamlined to make a little bit more sense. We realized, and we did a quick poll on the internet as well, so you realized that most people watch the show live, or they watch the VOD of the show in the 3 days after we do it, and then we post the podcast on Monday, and nobody watches it because they all watched this show over the weekend. So our plan is to leave it that way, and we're going to leave the live show. We're going to do a better job of advertising that the VOD exists and that you guys can watch the VOD. So if you want to catch Lineage Break, you can do so every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here.
No longer asterisk.
On YouTube. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll be late sometimes, so
Yeah,
I guess the asterisk
maybe.
is fine. But thank you guys for watching. Something to note as well, just getting our whole rigmarole out of the way, that we usually don't address chat on the show because we are worried about the breakout on YouTube. That is no longer the case. So hello, chat. Make sure to let us know. We will talk to you when necessary.
Join in the conversation.
Which is pretty cool. Is Arisana dead? I don't know. Doesn't feel great. I'll tell you that. I don't think she's dead. Doesn't feel great though. I was very excited to play Stellaria Chower, and then I was very not excited to lose the game because Polaris cost 1. So it's gonna be a tough format for Ari, I think.
I can say that I've never once beaten Arisana on allies, and I did yesterday. So that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That extra card's pretty huge. Yeah. I don't know that they're going to retune it. I think it's fine. I think it is nerfed in a reasonable manner because they're going to give Ari some more support probably in set 9 would be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
RDO, or maybe even set 8 as it is still an Astra set, so we could get some actual cleric support. So, Steven.
Cameron.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
It's good. We have a new format, and so that's cool. It's been a lot of fun to play. We've been doing a little bit of testing. I don't think that we've necessarily gotten into the nitty-gritty of testing whichever Raleigh the Abyss deck the team wants to play at Ascent Boston, but it has been pretty fun to play the new stuff. Played some cardistry stuff yesterday. It was pretty neat. I'm enjoying the set so far. I have a terrible Alice deck that I played at locals last week, which did abysmally, but I got to look at the pretty girl, so that's huge ups. But finally, after what feels like ages with Ascent Boston, 3 weeks away now. 3 weeks.
3 weeks. We finally got some announcements for that.
We did, yeah. We finally have seen the promo and the deck box.
Yeah. I'm up huge.
Which I know
I'm
you're
up
excited
huge.
about. Yeah, even the Omnidex promos are looking pretty Steven pilled.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm super excited.
mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, our deck box is Ciel.
Yep.
It's in a like a dark blue sort of.
It's like black with like dark blue. I don't know what you would call it.
It looks sort of like velvet, and I think that's the intent because he wears he like wears a tuxedo. He doesn't wear like a suit. He wears like a assumingly velvet tuxedo. I don't know.
I hope it is because that'd be sick, nice and soft.
That's what it looks like. Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
And then we got the promo for Ascent Boston as well. Is Tempered Steel, notably featuring Aethne, which is cool.
Yeah, that's super.
Aethne's back. We love
so,
Aethne.
It's always good to see that the spirits get some love.
Yeah, they said a thing a while ago where they were like, we want to make the spirits into like more fleshed out characters, and so we've seen a lot of that for the Lost Spirits as they're on all the silver promos, and we've seen a little bit of that over the past couple of seasons. Like Fractal of Rain had Sabrina on it. What was our Incap? Has Shira on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like probably going forward, most of our Ascent promos are going to have Ascent Spirits on it, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if this means that they are bringing Aethne back. Maybe.
Interesting.
Give her a new spirit. She's hot, so that'd be sick.
Yeah, she is.
Who did the original one? Is that Honshu?
I believe it's Honshu. I think.
She has all the sick spirit art.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think there's like
It's like 8 out of 10 for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
There's like a couple that aren't, but most of the spirits are Han.
So that is pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
Excited to get some promos.
Yeah.
Less excited to get a CL deck box, but
Oh,
I know you're excited.
Don't worry. The Alice double deck box coming in PTM goes crazy.
Yeah, I could use one, dude. I could use one for sure. I only have one left. I stopped keeping my double deck boxes. I used to have all of them. They put out so many boxes and I can't keep up, and I don't need that many. But I do need one for Ari because the bolts and the tokens and the sideboard take up a lot of space. But I'm using the like Parsonet one right now, which is like it's fine.
All of my double deck boxes that I currently own are being used to house commander decks.
That's cursed. I like the Lubu one. It looks really good.
Yeah,
it's like foil on the front. And she's hot, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
The more and more that like I play the game, like currently the only double deck box that I use, like for intended design, is my Tony deck because I need 1 billion tokens.
Yeah.
So similar.
That's what Poro says. Exactly that sentence.
There he goes. Yep. Yeah. I use the Tristan double deck box for my water Tony deck.
Yeah.
But I would love, or I guess I shouldn't say I would love. I do love the smaller deck boxes.
Yeah.
Like I use the Sao Sao, like the small character decks box.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I use that one for my Fire Seal deck, and right now I'm using the plastic deck box they gave us for free at Worlds.
It's so cute.
I'm using that for my Wind Allies Ciel deck.
Yeah, I find that those the like new ones, whatever they're calling them, the compact deck boxes are too small for me. I like the sideboard slot. Really gets me going.
Yeah.
And I wish I could use it for Ari, but she's too big, bro. She's like fucking 200 card deck.
I would love if GA would design not design, but use the deck box design where it has the clip-on token like the.
Oh
dice
yeah,
box.
yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, sort of like Mana Moon does. Yeah.
Like if we could get like a GA Mana Moon collab, would
Ooh,
be sick.
that would go kind of crazy.
Right.
You guys reach out. They're like a single person. Come on, like what are we doing? So, your number one deck box podcast, Lineage Break. We also have some Omnidex promos to talk about, which is pretty cool. I think we got the first two last week on the last podcast ever. The podcast is canceled, by the way. You guys can use that as the clickbait. We will use it as the clickbait. Surely the podcast is canceled. And right before the end too. We're on like episode 95. I think this is episode 96 if you count this. But now we've rebranded, so now we have to start again from 0.
It's episode 0.
Yeah, it's episode 0. Not even 1 actually. We're just gonna start at 0 for unknown reasons. But yeah, so we got the rest of the Omnidex promos. As Aqua says in chat, very exciting. We got Fertile Grounds. Yay!
Hey, that's the.
She's so cute.
The judge promo.
It is the Judge promo, yeah, as it has Ari on it. Gorgeous Ari-sana art done by Psyche, which is super cool because they don't usually draw Ari, so I like to see other artists get a crack at my girl. Very playable card. I'm currently playing it as I think the fractal hate will be lower than last season.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. The first time basically that we get an Ari-sana Judge promo, if we don't count Astroscope, that we can put into an Ari-sana deck. You could technically play a null spell, but it's pretty bad. So pretty sick that we get a good Ari card. And then the last promo was Conniving Plans is the Platinum Ascendant promo.
Yep.
Featuring one skank bitch Merlin on it.
Yeah. That art looks so good though.
Yeah, it's
as much as Lineage Break hates Merlin, that art goes kind of crazy.
Yeah, she's hot, man.
Yeah.
She's hot. I like her new outfit. It goes pretty crazy. I think also worth noting, Steven. I think that card specifically has some interesting implications, perhaps.
Yeah, I also think it's weird. Weird chat.
Yeah.
Did anyone else notice that all of the new Merlin cards are on Assassin?
Yeah. Interesting.
Assassin Merlin incoming. Methinks perhaps.
I think it would be kind of crazy if that wasn't true. It's really Excalibur that does it, right? That like it's Assassin Warrior.
It's Assassin Mage.
Or Assassin Mage rather.
Right.
And it has Merlin bonus on it. Obviously it has Merlin on it. So it's like, why did you put that type on the card? And I could like get behind, there was a long time ago where they talked about card types on cards, and they were like, well, if it's not gameplay relevant, we try to class type things thematically, right? Oh, what's going on in this card? What does the art look like? This is probably a warrior card, right? And it doesn't have class bonus, so it doesn't matter. But in this case, I think it does matter. I think they put that deliberately on the card, and I think she's on Conniving Plans also deliberately. There's also a lot of assassin cards in the set, in DTR as a whole, it feels like. So I think there is some intricacies there. We won't spend too much time talking about the Merlin lore. If you want to see us talk about lore, I've been doing some shorts. You can check those out on the YouTube channel. And I do have to do one about Merlin, so you can hear my thoughts more succinctly there. But I personally, chat, I know what you're saying. I can read you. I don't think Merlin's taken over anybody. I think she's girl boss slay.
Yeah, girl boss queen.
Yeah.
I don't
I just don't know how she got assassin. This is interesting.
Yeah. There is some spicy lore.
We have
a video coming soon.
We have the most crackpot, insane tinfoil hat theory about Merlin that we won't say on the show because we need to get you to click that video, and that one's not clickbait. It is like capital S stupid.
If you want to see pure, unadulterated Cam and Steve in the tank at 3 a.m, click that video.
Yeah, we had a somewhat dangerous moment on the way home, where we both came to this just insane conclusion, which makes no sense. We turned to look at each other while driving, and yeah, it's pretty good. You guys will see that at some point. I just haven't had time this week to put out that.
It was like
monster.
It was one of those moments where two people have the same thought at the same time and can't help but just like, are we telepathic?
Yeah, but it's like two people were asked, what's 2 + 2, and they both came to the conclusion 5 at the same time. So it's like just very clearly too stupid. It's not rage bait, I promise. It's just very dumb. I think you guys will like it. Well, maybe it's rage bait for one specific subsection of players, but they don't count. So, all right, Steven.
Cameron.
Those are all our promos. Finally, we're up to date. We have all of our promos. We know what's coming. We know our spirit for Boston. We know our Ascent promo for Boston. We know all of our Omnidex rewards. Cool. We did it. DTR is over. Congratulations, everybody. We made it. DTR is done. However, there's some other news to talk about. Of course, we're very excited to talk about the lore, and we'll talk about that shortly. But something that it's hard for me, Steven, to remember what we say on the show and what we don't. And I feel like this is almost exactly our complaints about this. Did we ever get to make a video where we talked about Gauntlet, or was it too...
I think we
were too busy.
We were too busy, and we did a lot of internal discussion.
Yeah, so maybe this never...
I don't think it ever made it to the show proper, though.
So you can't, attribute us for this. But they've made some changes to the Gauntlet. So anybody who is not fully aware, the Gauntlet, some beautiful Gauntlet players in our chat, is the last chance qualifier for Worlds. So anybody who almost qualifies for Nationals, or through Nationals, rather, gets an invite to the Gauntlet. The top half of the Gauntlet, 16 players, gets entered into Worlds as the remaining 16 players of 32 for the World Championship. So last year, it was just people that performed at Nationals. Nationals was the only way that you could qualify for Worlds at all. And then depending on your region, X people that did not make top cut, your 9th through 16th or whatever, would get an invite into the Gauntlet. And then obviously those Gauntlet players would get an invite into Worlds. One true champion, Terry, out of the Gauntlet, made it to second place. So you can do it. That could be you.
Almost made the entire run.
That could be you. You could be Terry, just less handsome.
Yeah, that's true. That guy.
So there's a couple of changes. They changed some ways that invites pass down. I don't think that matters too much to dwell on. It's mostly just to stop people from abusing it. There was a couple of people that, I forget who it was. Somebody, maybe it was Jet. Somebody had a Worlds invite but took the Gauntlet invite instead to get somebody else in, which is totally fine, not throwing any shade. But they have sort of made it a little bit more succinct now, how you can use your invites. You always have to take the higher one. There's a hierarchy of where you received it that tells you which invite you take. So it sort of takes all of that gamification out of the system. The system just tells you that if you have this qualification, this is what happens. They also did that for regions, which I think is really smart. So wherever your home region is, if you have multiple Gauntlet invites, you take your home region invite no matter what. So if you are Hanky the Goat and you win European Nationals, then you come to U.S. and say win U.S. Nationals, you do have to take the European invite as he is from the EU. So I think all of that is good. Helps make things just a little bit more clear. Does mean I think we'll see a reduced amount of players traveling to different nationals, but I think in a healthy way, it doesn't stop people traveling to nationals if they didn't qualify. So the players that really do want to get in and are worried about that qualification can play in all the events. So the true champion guys will still play in Oceania and SEA because they're before North American Nationals, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
What Do You Min, also from Gauntlet. You're right. True. Shout out to them as well. So that's good. But the real palpable change, which I think is really good, is twofold. First of all, if you win an Ascent this year, you get an invite to the Gauntlet.
I think it's interesting how they worded it.
Yes.
Because they worded it as starting at Ascent Boston.
Yes.
All standard format Ascents. So I'm assuming that just means like not 3v3, but that's weird because like 3v3 is only at Worlds. So and that happens after the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
So it's just very strange.
Yeah, I think it's probably exactly that. It's probably not for 3v3 per se. Just always good when you have the chance to future-proof. And I think 3v3 is really cool. And I think it would be sick if there was a 3v3 event that wasn't Worlds.
Yeah, I agree.
Where all of the best players could play. And, that was the focus of the event. It could be streamed. Like, all of those things I think would be really cool. I do think it is interesting using the word standard. I assume they didn't put as much thought into that as maybe we are giving it credit for. But standard is what we call Grand Archive. That is the name of the format. Obviously, there's only one Grand Archive format currently, so it doesn't matter. But we do play standard. And so that would, assumingly, exclude any sort of limited events if they ever did. I don't think it would.
Like a draft Ascent or something.
I don't think it would exclude those, but this wording does suggest that. But yes, anybody who wins an Ascent gets an invite to the Gauntlet. Not to Worlds proper, but to the Gauntlet. I think it probably would have been better if you just give them a Worlds invite, but I understand that they want people to fight through the last chance qualifier, but winning an Ascent is a pretty big deal. And I would prefer, I think, if they just got a direct invite to Worlds, but these players are good enough that a Gauntlet invite is basically just as good, right? It's a pretty tough tournament, but the top half to qualify for Worlds is attainable, I think, for any of the players' caliber that make it into the Gauntlet.
Right. I think if you take the Gauntlet this year, right? If you look at it, it was like everyone went like 4, 2, and 4 or something like that. Like there was a lot of draws in the last 4 rounds.
And I think something that will help as well is these changes. Where the Gauntlet this year was 23, 26, something like that. It was pretty shy from the full 32. So it did mean that there was a lot of draws because they had to play the full tournament, but there was not even close. I think to maybe it was 28. It was somewhere in that range, in the 20s, where it did allow a lot of draws in a longer tournament that is that small. Yeah. So all the Ascent winners will get an invite. I believe that's like 5 or 6 events. We'll get an invite to the Gauntlet. And then thank God, like insane that this wasn't the case before, they also are giving a Gauntlet invite to the previous world champion to allow them to defend their title. So shout out to Main Deck Taylor. We'll get an invite to the Gauntlet. And they didn't do our boy dirty because they are choosing to make this change now. They are also giving a 2026 invite to Glenn Williams, our 2024 world champion, because it was insane to me that Glenn did not get to defend his title at Worlds. Is nuts. Feels insane to me.
So I think I mentioned before in the show, but like to me, 2025 is kind of surreal in a sense because Taylor,
yes,
won 3v3 in 2024.
In 2024, yeah,
and Glenn won Worlds in 2024, and then they just swapped this year. I think that was pretty cool, actually.
And maybe they'll swap back next year.
Well, maybe next year we get Taylor versus Glenn in the finals.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I think it should be a no-brainer that the world champ gets to defend their title, not only for them, but for the spectators, right? Like you want to see the best of the best from last year, see if they can do it again. Et cetera, et cetera. And you should make that path a little bit easier for them. They earned it.
Right.
So I'm glad that both of them will get an invite. We'll see if either of those gentlemen can get the run back next year for the 2-time world champion.
I honestly think both of those players are like so good at the game that even without getting the Gauntlet invite, I think they qualify for Worlds anyways.
Well, yeah, but Glenn didn't, right? Last season,
year.
Which
That's
is
true.
like pretty big.
That's true.
It's hard. It's not an easy road to get into Worlds. Even with the caliber players that we have, everyone in that room is a caliber, a Worlds caliber player. And so if there's 64 of them and only half of those people make it into Worlds or whatever, it's a pretty tough room. But it's Glenn's year, dude. Merlin, pretty good. That Raleigh the Abyss card, pretty strong.
Yeah. Speaking of Raleigh the Abyss,
yeah,
we've seen cards like this that have like ubiquitous play across many decks.
Yeah.
In the past, especially draw engines.
Yeah.
Do you think this card has watch list potential for the near future?
Yeah, it's pretty good. We're still pretty early in the format, and maybe we're not the peak of competitive Grand Archive, so maybe we are overrating the strength of that card. But I think the internet, the people in chat, the people on Discord, are also pretty high on that card. I do think that there is a palpable difference between Raleigh the Abyss and something like Lost in Thought, which is worth noting that when Lost in Thought was legal, I don't think that you can find a water deck that wasn't playing Lost in Thought. Almost 100% of them, aside from some Water Allies lists, but even those Water Ally lists, a lot of them were playing it for fast speed Frostborn Paladin trigger. You respond to your trigger, you play Lost in Thought for 0, Frostborn Paladin, whatever. So I think that ubiquity was pretty scary, and also the card was abusable. I do think that Ryle is abusable is probably the wrong word. Just activating that card is abusive because it's so strong. But I do think it is important to recognize that Raleigh the Abyss does not go into every fire deck. Your FISA players are probably not playing Raleigh the Abyss. It is just for these late game focused decks. So it's for Merlin and Jin and Xander and Ciel and anybody that wants to go to level 3. It does provide a lot of card advantage. I do think it is pretty scary. I would not be shocked if it got put on the watch list. I think it should be watched, although I don't think that this is a 3 visits situation or something where this is going to be banned in a month. Right. But it is something that they knew. They printed it on purpose. It is obviously very powerful, and they did say several times leading up to this format that they wanted level 3 decks to be playable. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is what you have to do, right? We are talking about this in the context of these advanced element decks, and they will be the winners out of this. And that's not to say that the lower to the ground aggressive decks aren't still good. And so, if you show up to Boston and a bunch of people are just playing fractals, it doesn't matter if you have 9 cards in hand as Merlin. You're playing a fire deck with no interaction, and you'll die to fractals, right? So, we'll see how it shakes out. A card is very powerful. I think very obviously the best card in the set.
Yeah, I was more not alluding to Lost in Thought, but I was more alluding to the slime package.
Sure.
Being ubiquitous and
across
a bunch of decks, because this Spectre package is very indicative of that, right? It's something you can play in all of these different archetypes and provides just as much support in each of them.
Yeah. Mr. Chica Blue says that Yeti from last night had suited Go4-0 and Water Allies Diana Go4-0. Allies still good. Imagine that. Yeah. Exactly right. Allies are still good. The suited deck is really cool. I mentioned that earlier in the show. I was playing it yesterday, and it feels really strong. I think it feels a lot stronger than I'd given it credit for. It's way easier to get those 4-cost cardistries to do their thing for virtually free, and activating 4 of Hearts for free is broken. So yeah, there's a little bit of doom and gloom. People are scared of card advantage, and I can understand. I think Ryle is, again, probably the best card in the set. Mm-hmm. But it is not for all strategies, and the strategies that it is for are interactable. It's very important this is a fire card and not a wind card and not a water card.
Correct.
Where if you are putting this sort of card advantage into the more interactive elements like water and like wind, it becomes a lot scarier. If this was a water card, I think it would be broken.
Right.
But because it is a fire card and fire is usually lower on interaction, you have to rely on normal interaction stuff like, crystallized destiny rather than having, direct answers that you might have in wind or water. I think does make it a little bit less of an issue. So we'll see how things shake out. We do have a pretty big event coming up in New Zealand in Quicksilver Cup. I think that is this weekend, maybe next weekend. And then, of course, we have Ascent Boston. So we'll see how the meta shapes out. But
there's also
looks pretty cool.
a few regionals, I believe, as well in SEA before Boston.
Yeah.
So we'll see some spice coming out of these players.
Could be norm. I agree. What is wrong with you, Perfy? That is not what I'm saying. I don't think that you can make that card norm. It would be too good. But maybe. No. All right. So something happened last week. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We finally, the Wen lores reached Bell's ears, and we got some lore. For anyone that did not see, Steve,
that's me,
did an audio narration of CL1 Down the Rabbit Hole, where we read through the whole article. Steve does some amazing voice work, so please go check that out. We're really proud of how that turned out. If you don't want to read and you don't care about the lore enough to read it, you can listen to it, and then you can listen to us yap about it right now. It's the perfect 1-2 punch. We got CL1, finally get some insight into the DTR story. Ciel is sort of our main character. It feels like Diana's sort of just like along for the ride, and Ciel is the one driving the story forward, and so CL1 gives us a lot of background into what the plot of not only DTR is, but PTM might be. So again, if you want to read the article, go watch our video. That would be cool, but Steve and I want to do a little bit of yapping about the article itself.
I've been waiting so long to yap about this.
I know
article.
it feels like it's been forever. What was it? It like came out
last Friday.
Was it? I think it was Saturday, right?
Yeah, maybe.
It was like right after the show, is what it feels like. I think it was over the weekend, right? Yeah, it was Saturday because we did the video Saturday evening.
Yep.
Because I was out of work, I think. Anyways, yeah, it's been like a week since we've been able to talk about this, so pretty exciting. We love the lore. Steven.
Yeah.
That Ciel guy.
That guy's fucking crazy.
Certified freak. 7 days a week.
You were talking about Diana just being along for the ride. I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
I think the Grand Archive sent her to watch Ciel because they're like, this guy's insane. He can't be left alone.
Yeah, babysitter for sure.
Correct. Yeah.
Well,
like there are many times in the article itself where Ciel is being creepy. And Diana's like, you gonna come along?
Hey,
or
cut that out.
Like, what are you doing there?
Stop being a weirdo. Yeah, it's a little bit unclear. Spoilers, by the way, for this CL1 article. If you haven't read it, go watch that video. Come back to us later. Yeah, it's the timing is a little bit strange, right? Because it says that Ciel, like other people were chosen. Alice goes missing. So Alice is a champion from the Grand Archive. She gets sent on a mission. To Underland.
Mm-hmm.
Ciel stays at home because he was not chosen. Alice is sent on her mission. This dude's at home molding, tearing all of his hair out.
That's not even true. I don't even think he was a champion at that point.
Maybe not.
Because the way the article says, they see like he tore himself into the Grand Archive to become a champion.
So I sort of I think the notion that I have is that Alice becomes a champion. You can check out a short I did about that lovely lady. Always wanted to like live a life of adventure. She was born into royalty, but like didn't want to live that life, and so she wanted a life of adventure, and she found that life of adventure by being chosen to be a Grand Archive champion. Ciel follows her everywhere. I assume he also chose this path to become a Grand Archive champion. But people aren't always linked at the hip, right? Alice gets a job. Grand Archive says, hey, Alice, we need you to go do this thing. Probably because part of the solving of said issue is a missing throne. You're probably pretty good at that. You should go fix this problem in Underland. So Alice gets sent to Underland. Mysteriously goes missing. Non-communicative. We don't know what happened. Ciel at home, molding, tearing all his hair out. People are chosen to go find Alice because champion goes missing. Pretty big deal. They choose some champions. Probably Diana. Ciel still molding, tearing all his hair out. He's like, well, I can't allow that to happen, and forces his way into said Grand Archive to just like jump through the portal. It's unclear to me if Diana, like you said, was sort of like a reaction by the Grand Archive to send a babysitter for Ciel. I think that makes a lot of sense. It sort of like alludes to him not being able to wait, and it's unclear to me if he means waiting to be chosen or if he means literally waiting for the like bureaucratic process to send the champions to find Alice. And so maybe it is the latter, and he's like, I just need to fucking get over there as soon as possible. And then he jumps through the portal, and then they're like, I guess we'll send Diana so that he doesn't, go crazy. Schizophrenia.
Yeah. Kind of wild. She's been missing for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I had a...
It's 747 days.
I had a really... and this I will talk about, I guess, a little bit later today. When I read this the first time, I audibly, exclaimed or whatever in that like third sentence or whatever. I was like, "Oh shit," because I was under the impression that she'd been missing for like a couple of weeks. Yeah. It's like, oh, like where'd she go? Let's go find her. It's like, no, she's been like out in the creepy, weird Wonderland wilderness for 2 years, living like a, like a savage person in the woods.
Right. Which
just got kind of scary.
It alludes to stuff later on in the article where it's like maybe something's not all right.
Yeah. I think pretty clear on that one. So yeah, Ciel forces his way in to go find Alice. I think it is really important to point out that it has been 2 years. It's like a pretty big deal. It also sort of speaks to how long it maybe takes for, as we said, that sort of like bureaucratic process for the Grand Archive to actually send people to do something seems a little bit longer. Like you would assume if one of your champions goes missing that it shouldn't take you 2 years to send somebody to find them. But maybe time moves a little bit differently depending on what world you're on. We get some background about Ciel and that he's a certified freak and
he's insane.
Has a bit of an obsessive problem, I think.
I would like to point out
understandable, me too.
Perfy in chat.
Yes.
Merlin, not a Grand Archive champion.
True.
She does not belong to the Grand Archive. She is just a champion.
God knows what she's doing. We don't know where she comes from. Unknown origin, which is important for maybe things in the future. I think this is going to blow your minds, chat. It's going to blow your absolute minds. That for the most part, I think all of the story that we've had about DTR has nothing to do with Merlin at all.
I agree.
She's like sort of around, wrecking havoc. She opened the portal, which I guess does mean she's somewhat responsible for some of this stuff going on. But I don't think any of the plans that Merlin has have been enacted yet. I think she's sort of just like watching and waiting and looking for her time to,
Yeah, I think
do stuff.
She's an instigator, but she's not the cause of why Alice went missing, I don't think.
I think she will eventually be,
right, part of the story.
The villain or whatever, but I don't think that she's done really anything yet.
Yeah. A very shonen-esque villain. Like, bide my time. I become the villain when I need to become the villain.
Right. Yeah, and it alludes to that in Conniving Plans as well. I don't remember the flavor text exactly off the top of my head, but it's something like only a fool, goes in without a planning or something like that, where, she's very obviously making sure that she knows what's going on. And she's like sitting in front of a chessboard, obviously, like it is very clear that she understands the machinations that are going on in Underland and that she's waiting for her time to strike. I personally think that she's going around collecting WMDs, as she did create this crystalline copy of Excalibur from Cambria, and I think she's probably on DTR for some similar reason to find some sort of relic of power.
Yeah. The flavor text on Conniving Plans is only amateurs move without purpose.
Yeah,
or move without proper strategy.
Yeah, there you go.
Proper research.
All those things.
All those words. I can't read.
Yeah, that's true. So, back to our article at hand, while Ciel is looking for Alice, traveling around the place, meeting various flora and fauna of Wonderland, he does have this vision. And of course, you know, they allude to it several times that there's like weird stuff always happens in Wonderland, and he has again an obsessive issue and always dreams about this this girl, which is you know, like
not great,
maybe problematic,
yeah.
But
you know, he like met this girl once and became obsessed with her.
Well, yeah, I mean they've been sort of I assume attached at the hip for quite a while now.
I don't know. Maybe that's true, but that's not the energy I got from it.
Yeah.
The energy I got from it was he bumped into her when she was younger.
Yeah.
She got hurt.
Yeah.
He got hurt.
Yeah.
He like tackled her out of the way of a carriage out of control.
Yeah.
They both got hurt.
Yeah.
Her guards went to kill him.
Yeah.
She said, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
He helped her up.
That all did happen. Yeah.
Right. And I don't think there was like he was
That's
just like
crazy.
loyal to her, but like I don't like to me it was just like this guy is just like a creep.
That's actually so crazy. I didn't even
like think about
that at all. That they're like not actually connected or you know have this sort of like relationship. Right. That he's just like some weird stalker, which would be so sick.
I don't think that's true because of all the like the flavor text that's like my mistress or whatever, all that stuff. But like in my head when I first read it, I was like,
so funny.
This guy's just insane. He was just like a stalker. It would be so good.
Yeah, I think it's more so he is literally her butler, but he has this like they allude to it with the way that he uses his mask and he becomes a different person, and he has this sort of like split personality, and I think when he is with Alice, he's very like demure and butlerly, but like obviously we're getting a peek inside his psyche, which is like a little bit more frightening,
unhinged,
I think, than he probably lets on to her, especially. I'm sure around her he is very you know,
my favorite quote from the entire
my
thing.
queen.
We'll talk about it later. It very much alludes to the fact that
like,
he's
crazy. But yeah, so while they are exploring Wonderland, he has this vision, which is not the normal, you know,
he like tries to
dreams
go back to,
that he has of her.
Tries to go back to sleep.
Yeah,
and he's like, I'm going to dream of Alice, and he's just like,
no, you're not.
No, you're not.
So that part I will read just so that we can talk about it. It says, flashes of eyes, the smell of mold, candle wax and filth. They flicker at the edge of his mind, vile fragments of moments in time before he reaches her. I think is like way more literal than maybe he assumes, or maybe we are supposed to assume from this. This like sentence about vile fragments of moments in time before he reaches her is like maybe things that have already happened. He is, you know, seeing sort of like this. I guess not a premonition because it has already happened. Like things that have occurred in the 2 years that he has not been here. And I think he's like, oh, these are, you know, visions of things that could happen. If I don't reach her in time, I think these are things that have happened because he has not reached her in time.
Correct.
Which I think is really interesting. And they call back a couple of times to like similar themes to that in the article, which I think is neat.
Yeah.
So after doing some exploring, they do eventually stumble upon Losser, the Carpenter, the card. You guys know him. You love him. He's Mr. Spooky Spectre Man. Featured on your favorite card chat, Raleigh the Abyss.
And
Undying Dreams.
Undying Dreams.
Yeah.
Both cards that you're probably playing.
You love those. Yeah. If you're not a lore guy, now you know. You are a lore guy. You play Raleigh the Abyss. Lore compliant. So they run into Losser, who is the Carpenter from Alice in Wonderland adjacent. He does make a pretty cute allusion to The Walrus and the Carpenter, which is a poem from Through the Looking Glass, where he quotes it briefly when confronted. Ciel says, hey, we're looking for a queen, and he gives Ciel the spiel about talking of, you know, many things from The Walrus and the Carpenter, which is maybe something to consider if you guys aren't familiar with the source material. I wasn't really either until I, you know, looked up things. And this poem, The Walrus and the Carpenter, is the Carpenter and the Walrus sort of they're on the beach and they have this conversation and they convince some animate oysters to follow them on their walk to the beach so that they can take them away from their home and then eat them. So it's sort of about this like trickery, convincing people to do things that are, you know, maybe not in their well-being. And I think that maybe that is important, that is the sort of character that he is supposed to be. And he tells Ciel that he'll do a lot of things for him. He's like, oh yeah, I can find your queen for you. I know exactly where she is. I just need your help for a little while. And that is basically exactly what happens in that poem, where he lures some oysters away and then eats them alive. So
yeah,
you know, maybe bad.
Maybe don't trust the big demons, big demon spooky man.
Yeah,
right?
maybe not. Yeah.
You should like walk up on him and he's just like, hey, do a bunch of stuff for me and tire yourself out and take a nap.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Sorry, clams. My fault. But yeah, definitely something to maybe look out for. He says a lot of interesting things, this Mr. Losser, and so again, we're not going to read you the whole article, but we do want to point out a couple of things, which is important. If I can find them. Two things I want to mention. First of all, he says that he knows where the queen is.
Right.
Ciel starts, because he's cursed and stupid, starts by saying, we are looking for a queen. Later on, he's like, her name is Alice. Have you seen her? And Losser is like, oh, Alice? I might know an Alice. He refers twice to queens being known for cutting off people's heads. Which is true in Wonderland, referring to Verita, who is the Queen of Hearts, and the Queen of Hearts known for her, you know, sort of
off with her head.
Yeah, loose form of justice, and I think it's on Straight Flare. The flavor text is off with their heads as well. You know, she's known for being maybe a little bit fickle in assigning justice. I wonder, he does mention that twice, and that has such a strong connection with the Queen of Hearts, who is the Queen of Wonderland, that if you talk to a Wonderland denizen and you say, hey, I'm looking for a queen, I would assume that their first assumption is to bring you to the Queen of Hearts, because she is, you know, the person that rules over the land. So they are oysters. Suck it. Thanks, chat. So maybe he is not even trying to like pull the wool over Ciel's eyes, and he is just literally bringing Ciel to Verita, which would be bad.
Yeah,
she probably would cut his head off. That's sort of the vibe.
Yeah.
He also mentions, I know, chat, you love Merlin. Merlin, one time, where he says, you know, I met a queen once. Most don't remember her, but I do. Never forget a face. Which I think is very obviously referring to Merlin, who most people don't remember because she steals your memories so that you don't remember her. But Losser may be a little bit more in control of his mental faculties, remembers her face, but does not mention her by name. And we've seen this a couple of times. This also happens with Nimue, Lady of the Lake, when in the card flavor text, where Excalibur is tampered with in some way, and Nimue mentions a mage having wanted to solve the issue, but I can't remember her name or what she looks like. Does use her in the flavor text, though, so remembers that Merlin is female. So I think a similar situation where Losser doesn't quite remember exactly why he met Merlin or what she was doing, but does remember meeting her, and that she's a queen is important. Queen is important, I think. Unsure who we're referring to. Maybe we're referring to, you know, like Merlin has this ability to disguise herself or take over people's bodies or whatever. Maybe she's disguising herself as a queen. We have several queens in the picture that we don't know a whole lot about. Snow White, Sparrow, Verita. All, you know, could be possibly this person, who knows. So yeah, those are the important things, I think. And then, you know, he agrees to make this deal with Losser to go find Alice. Losser asks for a couple hours of his time and some effort.
To prove or to show him that madness is easy to come by or something.
Yeah. The madness is found by those that are trying to avoid it, something
Right.
like that, right?
What was the actual quote?
That assuming that
Try to make order where there is none. I want you to learn that madness is swiftest reach when trying to control it.
Yeah. So trying to sort of go against the ways of Wonderland, which Ciel is doing, trying to find a strict path to Alice is maybe going to prove more difficult, because
the more you try, the harder
it becomes, because that is sort of the the way that the nonsensical world works. And then last but not least, I suppose, we get one last look into Ciel's broken psyche, which I assume is what you wanted to talk about.
Yes. Yeah, I love this. He is so unhinged, because Lossor, while they're after Ciel does all this work for him, they're laying there, and Lossor mentions like, "Oh, it's you that lost your queen."
Yeah. Why would she spare you?
Why would she spare you? And Ciel goes on this long
because I'm a simp
explanation of how they met and why she means so much to me. And then inner monologue says, I didn't tell them about devotion. I didn't tell them about fate or sacrifice. I didn't tell them about a love that's beyond romance.
Yeah, a love that transcends romance is it's tough because the context is difficult, right? Like that's like theoretically altruistic,
right?
How wholesome. You love them so much that it's not it's not a attraction thing.
Right.
It's a deeper than that.
Right.
But in the context of this crazy man that wears a mask, it is a little bit more frightening.
Right.
I think,
especially because it's like, he's like very clearly he's like, oh, I'll tell you about how I met her, how I was almost punished, how she saved me.
Yeah.
And then in his head, he's like, I'm not telling them all the other shit.
Yeah, I'm not telling them how deranged it is. Yeah, I mean, I think it is that sort of like separation of himself and his inner self, and he's described so often as like sort of like cowardly until he puts on his mask, and his mask allows him to, I think, be his like closer to his inner self, filled with confidence and a little bit more direct. And I do think that is sort of what we're seeing here. Is he is sort of has this outward appearance that is not exactly what's on the inside, and then when he dons the mask, he becomes more himself, I guess.
Right.
And I think this is we're at the point now in the story where CL2 went more where he hasn't really interacted with any Grand Archive stuff yet, which is important. Like he hasn't mentioned attuning with any sort of ley line. We don't even know if Diana has at this point. This is like pretty early in their mission. It's 6 days in, I believe, when we see CL1. And so I think that CL is probably going to have this like mental breakdown when he attunes with Umbra, and we see that sort of mentioned like a little bit in his flavor text, that he sort of becomes closer to who he is while he's wearing the mask, like very overconfident and reckless, and the flavor text on CL3 is overcome the mask, succumb to true desire. So like maybe he loses this sort of civility that is keeping him in check and becomes a little bit more, reckless and scary.
And I think Lossor is definitely going to play a role in that.
Yeah.
I think he's going to guide Ciel to attune to Umbra.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, yeah.
And it also, I'd also like to point out that like it is strange, and it kind of lends a little credence to the conversation that all of Ciel's art, in his Umbra cards,
yes,
none of them have the mask on him.
Yes, yeah. There's one art where he's holding it, but none of them he is wearing it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I assume that once he attunes, he does just lose himself, and he no longer needs the mask.
Yeah, it's so tough, and it's also tough having talked to Belle about it. That I think we've said this on the show, and I'm sure she doesn't mind that she compares it to like the complexity of the cursed Kingdom Hearts story that we're so familiar with. So like I like try to make like direct assumptions, be like, oh well, this clearly means this, but then I like second guess myself because I know that it maybe gets a lot stranger than that. It's like really unclear to me. I think what happens to Ciel, and so I want to know because I agree. Like he becomes this sort of person beyond himself, and as it literally says in the flavor text, he overcomes the mask and no longer needs that sort of guise to like be himself, right? But we see on a lot of these cards, a lot of the Umbra cards specifically, we see this sort of like otherworld version of Diana. And we see her on Reckoning's Wake. We see her on Nightmare Coil, or I guess Nightmare Coil, she's sort of fighting against Umbra, I guess. But I think Reckoner's Wake is the one that comes to mind, where it's like Ciel and Diana, very clearly spooky with like cursed grins on their face, drinking tea or whatever.
I think that is the only art that he's holding the mask, right?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think the mask is in that. Oh no, maybe it's not.
But it's unclear to me if this is actually Ciel. Like if Umbra Ciel is Ciel, because he is so far removed from his own personality. So it's unclear if Umbra sort of like forces him past that point, or if this is not actually Ciel, and they say several times in the lore, in the Distorted Reflections, like story or location bit that you guys can find on the website, that everyone has a reflection. So like assumingly in Wonderland there is this alternate version of you is what they've alluded to, and it's unclear to me if Umbra Ciel, like as we see him represented on the cards, is Ciel, the one that traveled from the Grand Archive, or if it is the alternate version of Ciel that is, sort of
right
wreaking havoc. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're also to support that.
Yes.
The art on the 3,
yes.
1 and 2, done by Premia Studios. 3 is done by Jubei.
That's actually really cute. Yeah, I never really assumed that was intentional, but it would be really cool if it was intentional. That they do look slightly different, obviously because they're drawn by different artists, and we just like compartmentalize that away. Be like, oh well, they're drawn by different artists. They did that for Goja, and like obviously it wasn't lore relevant that Guel did Goja level 2. But I think it actually would be really, really cool if they did that on purpose, because CL3 is not exactly the Ciel that came to save Alice. Is maybe a different manifestation of him.
What would be very interesting is if in PTM we got another Ciel level 3 that is the
that would be so cool. Yeah,
It is by Premia Studios.
Maybe it's a different element. That'd be so cool.
That'd be so cool. Maybe he's the crux element.
Maybe. One other thing that I want to talk about. Steven, I was going to make a video about this, but I think that I probably never will. I will make that other cursed video, but I probably won't make this one. So I think maybe I will talk about it here on the show, since we're on the topic. So chat, lock in. This one was going to get broken out, but lock in. I was lucky enough to get a CUR, which is cool. Congratulate me. You have to. It's like somebody's birthday. You have to say congratulations on your hideous purchase and all of your money being gone. Yay! We've actually seen a lot of the CURs now as well. So initially when I opened mine, it was the only time that I'd seen this, but I've seen it in a couple of other signatures as well. There is an important thing about some of the signatures on Alice that I want to talk about, and maybe it's means nothing, so whatever. It's a bit of a tinfoil, so lock in. But on my signature and some others, there is like a little doodle of Alice that's done by Dai. Shout out to Dai, we love you. And in that art, she's wearing a little crown. It's like right above her head, and it's like a 3-pronged crown or whatever on her head. And of course, she is the Golden Queen. She's a a lady of royalty in her home place, wherever that is. But there is a lot of art in DTR that has Alice on it. She's on all of the Exalted cards. She's obviously on her own champion art. She's on the CSR. There are lots and lots of arts of Alice. In 0 of those arts is Alice wearing a crown. Sort of, similar to, we think, important the times where Ciel is not wearing his mask. I think it is also important to note that Alice never wears a crown in any of her art. However, there's one piece of art that pictures an Alice-like character, where she is wearing a crown. There's a crown floating above her head. And that is on Profane Bindings, the Umbra card.
The Umbra card.
And we see a sort of darker version of Alice. The flowers are removed from her dress. The bunny iconography is removed. I believe it's crosses on her Umbra dress, and then she does have a crown floating above her head. And so,
Which looks very similar to the signature crown.
True. Yeah. True. It is a similar shape. The one in the art has like a point downwards, but I think that would just be hard to obviously draw in little doodle form.
It is still a 3-pronged crown.
Right. Or at least, it's like circular, I think. But anyways, could be a representation of that. And what I think, which is maybe a little bit inside baseball, but this is sort of the initial inclination that I had. We assume that we're going to get some more of an Alice lineage. I think it would be crazy if we didn't. Silidar has almost directly confirmed it by telling me how broke I'm going to be in PTM. So I'm pretty convinced we're going to get some more Alice support. And I think if you work at Weebs of the Shore and you say, hello, artist Die, it's lovely to meet you for the several time. I need you to do some art. We're doing a new champion. We're doing Alice from Alice in Wonderland. You don't tell that artist, I need you to make these 2 different arts for a level 1 champion, and then 4 months from now, I will have you make a level 2 and a level 3. You surely go to that artist and you say, hey, I need these 4 arts for this champion lineage. Draw them, please. And they say, okay, thank you. Then you say, oh, the arts are done? That's great. We're going to make this one into a CUR, which means it will have individual signatures. Would you please make individual signatures for the CUR? And artist goes, oh, okay, great. I can do that. And while artist is making signature, they're like, oh, I should doodle Alice. They doodle Alice, and they're like, oh, in Alice's level 3, she wears a crown. I'll put a little crown on her head. And then they ship it, and they don't worry about it. They're not thinking that, the level 1 CUR isn't going to come out, and it's going to come out 4 months before they know about her level 3. They're surely just like, yeah, she in one of her arts, she wears a crown, so I made her this little crown. And so what I think is that basically Umbra Alice is confirmed by, that sort of maybe intentional, maybe unintentional, allusion to some of her other arts. Because I think it's pretty easy to assume, much like we were talking about with Ciel, in Wonderland, there's all sorts of like weird reflections and stuff. And maybe the art that we see on Profane Bindings is just like a fevered vision that Ciel has, or is not actually Alice, or whatever. Like, obviously it looks like her. But I think it was just as likely that it is her, as it was likely that it was a, cursed Wonderland reflection of some sort. Mm-hmm. But I think that this more or less confirms that Umbra Alice is coming in PTM.
Yeah, I would.
And I think the 2 years is pretty important, Steve.
Yeah, I think the 2 years of being lost in Wonderland does something to you.
Yeah, I think your flashes of eyes and the smell of mold, candle wax, and filth is referring to, maybe something dark that has befallen Alice in her time.
Burning down villages and stuff.
Yeah, we see her in Scorched Conquest burn down a village. We see her in Suited Trickery be captured by some of the aces and like tied up, and it says the monster has been detained. So maybe she's doing some spooky stuff.
But
maybe she's just chained up in that dungeon forever. Like, who knows?
I would also like to point out
there's mold in the dungeon.
That the Alice that is chained up,
is not Dark
Alice.
Alice.
It's not the Dark Alice.
That is true. Yeah, but maybe that's like it's like a Jack Bauer story. That's that's how she goes. Goes crazy. It's getting chained up forever, right?
Yeah, maybe she burns that village down.
Yep.
Because she's getting all these powers, and
Yep.
then gets chained up, and then Lossor influences her.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, so we sort of see, so Alice, right?
Mhm.
Coming from, Orifal is the name of the place, but we don't know where it is. But she is not like a necessarily powerful being. She chooses to become a champion of the Grand Archive because she wants to like experience adventure, right? She like who wants to go out and see the world. Very very Kingdom Hearts-esque,
Right.
in that way. And then while she's in Wonderland as a champion of the Grand Archive, you do have a certain amount of power attributed to you from the Grand Archive, vested in you. And she is sort of frightened by that, I think, is what we see in Scorched Conquest. Is she's like not burning down a village on purpose. She's like,
an accident.
I didn't realize that I'm this powerful. Is this what I'll become, or whatever? Is the flavor text? And so I think she doesn't realize how powerful she can be as a champion from the Grand Archive. But I think at that point it's very important that she hasn't attuned with a ley line,
Right.
because we don't see her on any advanced element cards, at least at that point. And so she probably hasn't done that, attuned with an advanced element to gain her sort of ultimate power and become a level 3 champion, right?
Right.
And so maybe she's burning down some villages by accident. She gets captured by the Aces because she's burning down some villages. They're like, we gotta chain this dummy up and send her off to trial with the Queen. And under some amount of duress or maybe coercion from somebody like Glosser, when she's in a bit of a pickle, going to be executed, head cut off by the Queen, she taps into a darker power than maybe she had
Previously thought.
Or
maybe that was the closest ley line, because we still don't know that process.
Right.
So maybe the Umbra ley line was just under her.
Just happens to be where she is in prison.
And then she was like,
You
oh, this'll work.
Yeah. And then becomes a little bit evil and spooky. So,
Mhm.
And I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I love a Dark Queen.
Yeah, Dark Alice is so sick. And they know, like, the name of the company's Weaves of the Shore, bro. Like, they get it. They know what us weebs want. They've played Force of Will. Like, they get it, you know? Like, I know that they know. Anytime I mentioned Alice or whatever, they would, like, avert their eyes or whatever. Like, a long time ago at Nationals, I was talking to Ciel and Roger about spoilers, and I was like, well, and this was after we had seen just the art for Sovereign Sanctuary that has like an Alice-like character on it. We didn't even know who it was, and we, on the show, we're very excited about it. And we're like, oh my god, it looks like Alice. Oh my
I was
god,
so
right
excited about it being
a Guardian card.
Guardian Domain card.
Yeah. But then when I saw them in Nationals, I was like, please, give me Alice spoilers. I'm so excited for Alice. And they spent the whole weekend telling me that she's not real. So, like, they get it. They understand. They're gaslighting me.
Yeah, they had to so that they could bury the lead.
Yeah. So,
but
I believe.
Unfortunately for them, you just have a fixation and will never let your thought die.
Yeah, dude. I look too deep into everything, and I pay way too much attention. And I think often people think that I have like insider info or something. They're like, how did you find that out? It's like, I just like really pay attention to like all of it, like all the time. This game absorbs 90% of my life.
I can confirm. I have walked by Cam while we're at the store, and he's just on his phone reading flavor text.
Yeah, I pay really close attention to everything, because I think it's really fun. I like the hunt. The hunt is cool, and being like, oh my god, I was right about this stupid thing. It's like really sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited. All of you should buy your Devouring Malice foils right now, as long as you're not buying them for me, as I still have to find one. But lo and behold, I promise.
I think one of our locals has one.
Yeah, I think Matt has one. If he hasn't sold it,
Yeah.
It's Brent week, but maybe next week. So, my last thing to tell you is that I assume that we will know sooner rather than later, as history dictates, now that we know the name of the new set, and it has been an event since then, and the new set DTR has released, history dictates that at Ascent Boston, we will see the product sheet for Phantom Monarchs. And with the product sheet, assuming it is a normal supplementary set, we will also get the product sheet for the new Recollection decks, being, of course, Alice and
Mordred.
unnamed. Yeah. Mordred, I like that. And then I think Merlin will be in the set proper.
I'm going to get on my soapbox because I've been on my soapbox.
Go ahead. I do it too much.
Our soapbox didn't get heard because that episode got scuffed.
Oh, true. Yeah.
There were 4 banners on the world stage.
True.
It was Diana, Ciel, Merlin, and Mordred. You can't tell me Mordred isn't in the set.
Deliberate, I think.
You can't tell me Mordred isn't in the set.
So the thing is, though, I think the thing that gives the most credibility
is he has so much new art with new outfits.
Oh, not even that, Steven.
Not even that.
I think the thing that gives the most credibility to your theory is that, and I think, I'm going to say I think because my memory is not perfect, but I think it's pretty good. If I remember correctly, Thursday, Gauntlet Day. Nobody else was there. We were there. Production was there. Thursday, Gauntlet Day. I don't believe Mordred was on the stage. I think he was hanging elsewhere because he was set up by the people setting up the event. And then I think somebody was like, you should move him over there, you know?
I'm just saying.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't hanging up on the stage until later in the event.
I'm just saying.
So, all right.
That's it.
And that's pretty cool.
That's my soapbox.
You know? So, yeah. Yeah, I think Merlin is probably in the set proper. So,
yeah.
So I think there will need to be a recollection, and I think Warrior is pretty due for one.
Yeah. And I think it would be Mordred.
Yeah. Maybe
it would be very interesting to see if Merlin doesn't get a full lineage and they just give her a level 1.
Yeah, it's tough because they've given her a new class. So, like, if they're not going to make Assassin Mage Merlin,
maybe
what are they doing? You know,
maybe
what are they doing?
Maybe they don't.
Maybe she does get a new lineage. I don't know, man.
Maybe her level 1 is inherited, turns on Assassin class bonus.
I think I said this on the show.
And then she's 3 classes.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I think I said this on the show, but I assume that the Alice 1 printing was like a red herring.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think she is just going to get a whole new lineage. I think she's going to be 1, 2, 3. And the Chessman is sort of going to be like an alternate way that you can play the deck. And that's why it's like a pretty powerful level 1. Has a lot of text for a level 1 champion, and I think it was split off purposely for that reason, that like Alice will have a normal lineage and she'll be in the Recollection deck. But if you want to play Chessman, you can play DTR level 1 Alice, and it sort of enables that strategy holistically because it's inherited and lineage release.
Right.
And so I just don't know if they're going to treat Merlin in a similar manner, where it's like pretty hard to make a whole new identity in a new class, obviously, with the existing Merlin. So maybe they try to make her level 1 sort of cross-compatible in that way, that you can play it for either, but then they do give her a new level 2 and a level 3.
I think I'd be okay if they just gave her a new level 3. Like a 1 and a 3.
Right.
Because I think her level 2 is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I like her level 2, yeah.
And I think that,
especially now.
Right.
And Eating Liminal Guides is pretty good.
Right. I think it would be insane to give her a new level 2 that is in any way better than her current level 2.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it would be difficult. So yeah, that's our soapbox. We're very excited about the lore, and we can't wait to hear more, and hopefully we will hear more at Ascent Boston in sort of a roundabout way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm most excited not for the product sheet, obviously for the confirmation of characters and recollection decks is super exciting, but I just want that little lore blurb.
Yeah.
In the product sheet, you know, give me more lore.
Oh, and I would like to announce here on the show, in front of all my friends, that thank you to one Matthew Yorko last night, who irresponsibly bought a case. I now have my full Ciel lineage.
Yay. It's your first one.
It's my first
your
full
first lineage. Your first champions, even, right? That you've like.
Well, I opened that Gojo level 1 right before Worlds.
Yeah.
And I sold that so I could buy Ciel.
Right. Congratulations, you did it.
But yeah, I own my first lineage.
It was very exciting. And now you're locked in. And it's also a slippery slope. Now you start buying all of them. And just yesterday, Steve was like, yeah, now I got to buy the Tonys, and then I'll buy the Nikos. And I'm like, yep, that's how it goes.
Yeah,
You know,
but those are
slope
less.
starts at the top and
I
all the way down.
I do own, unlike a Ciel, which I'll surely be buying when they are reasonable priced.
Yeah.
The foils for Ciel. I do own every single Tony foil.
Yeah.
Because the store just bought
True.
a creation spell that I was missing, so
That
now
is
I
true.
have 1, 2, and both of these as foils.
It's good stuff, man. Yeah, get your foils, get your CSRs. I'm really, really hopeful that we get some artists at some upcoming events because I really want to get some stuff signed.
And if you, chat, have a blank Spirit of Water or a blank Spirit of Wind that you want to sell me, DM me.
Do it.
Because I am
$1 billion.
I am looking for them so I can have a full set.
Well, chat, we love you, but all good things have to come to an end. One of the parts of us not being in the secret closet of Webway Games is that we do have to go to Webway Games, as I do have to open the store, and that means that there is less time currently for the kicking around, what do we eat for lunch, all that nonsense. But we thank you guys for hanging out. We hope that you enjoy our new sort of live format. I know it's very similar to the old show, but we hope that you like it. If you want to catch the show, do us a favor. If you like the show, share it with your friends, especially the VOD. It is hard for VODs to get any sort of reach on YouTube, so make sure to share it with your friends. We do really appreciate that. And if you want to catch the show, we do it live here on YouTube every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Asterisk.
You can find us here, and there will be no breakout. This is your place to watch it. You were here. Say, I was here, chat. This is the first episode of Lineage Break live, and we thank you for watching. So,
thank you, guys.
Have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good time. We love you. We will see you next week.